Oh, yeah! It's my favorite show, y'all! Get ready to get in here and do a deep dive? Yeah, what? Wait. What? Okay. For those who aren't in the know, what is now considered by producers as the first season of Saved by the Bell is a twice-rejected show featuring Hayley Mills called Good Morning, Miss Bliss. The original concept for the show aired as a pilot on NBC on July 11th, 1987. It did not connect with audiences, and the show was scrapped. As a side note, the pilot did boast the likes of a young Jaleel White, Brian Austin Green, and Jonathan Brandis, as well as a Gerald Belding, and direction from, this guy. So I'll definitely have to do a deep dive on this puppy. Brandon Tartikoff, president of NBC and real-life former student of a beloved Miss Bliss, believed in the show so much that he pitched it as a Disney Channel show and reworked the premise. The show was recast and ran for one season before being canceled. It was then retooled again, moved back to NBC, and became the hit Saved by the Bell. As another little tidbit, this classic intro was applied retroactively to the episodes from Good Morning, Miss Bliss. Here's what aired on the Disney Channel. Standing on the edge, there's no way of knowing what lies ahead or where the road is going. Give me cancer now, God! Yeah, this intro is over a minute long. Why? In syndication, an older Zack would introduce each junior high year's episode, a feature often removed from the DVDs and streaming services. Using Zack as a lead-in to these adopted Good Morning Miss Bliss episodes gave off the impression that they fit in flawlessly with the Saved by the Bell universe, even though massive holes existed, which we will certainly discuss. The best of times. Gee, that was fun. Welcome to John F. Kennedy Junior High School in Indianapolis, Indiana, where, it appears, the extras aren't taught how to blend in. For instance, Miss Mullet here completely derfs it right off the bat. And down the hall, this girl doesn't know how to react when she finds out the drinking fountain is actually fake. Don't look at the camera. The junior high years typically consisted of student plots and teacher plots. Zack's very first scene not only introduces us to the student plot, but also to the fact that, even before Saved by the Bell proper, Zack was a little stinker.
Listen, I met this great girl at camp and hung out with her all summer. She's 15 and in the 9th grade.
Zack, an 8th grader, is clearly trying to assert his superiority with the story of macking on a 9th grader. Some friends are impressed. Nikki is a wet blanket. In the office, we meet Miss Carrie Bliss and her quirky coworker Tina. Tina wants Carrie to attend a workout class with her on Wednesday, but Miss Bliss has plans.
What is it? A date?
It is a date.
You are going out on a school night? Who are you? Carrie's evil twin sister?
Was that a callback to when Hayley Mills played both twins in the original Disney classic, The Parent Trap?
And you can always count on me. A Mr. Tusa we will be.
Mr. Belding is a bit disappointed that he can't dump his PTA meeting obligation onto Miss Bliss. I hope that wasn't important. Cue the part where the student plot intertwines with the teacher plot. Not so fast, cowboy. There ain't no water in that there drinking fountain nohow. This is Karen, and if you guessed that she is the 9th grader who experienced the full-on summertime Zack Mac attack, then you are correct. And if you guessed that Zack followed the TV trope of stacking lies on top of lies, then you are also correct.
Well, I haven't been this excited since I got my driver's license.
Driver's license?
Well, it's an experimental program for a few select 9th graders.
Yeah, experimental in that it apparently doesn't work on Wednesdays. And she believes him. I mean, come on now. Do some people deserve to be duped? In class, Zack learns that he will have to stand before the whole school in an assembly as the 8th grade representative. Oh, but guys, this will out me as an 8th grader in front of Karen! And why didn't anyone tell the extras to avoid looking at this clandestine conversation? Especially this girl who can't seem to keep a straight face. Preferring to continue in his web of lies to Karen, Zack resigns as the 8th grade representative. At lunch, Mr. Belding continues to pester Miss Bliss about covering for him at the PTA meeting. The reason?
I have dinner show tickets to The King and I with Telly Savalas.
This guy? I don't see the appeal. Also, did Belding's delivery make it sound like he was actually the Telly Savalas fan?
He's my wife's favorite.
And how do I get my hands on this juicy story? Sorry, Mr. Belding, but your man crush on Telly Savalas won't sway Miss Bliss. Miss Bliss catches up with Zack and learns that he resigned from the student council so that Karen wouldn't dump him.
Zack, you have to tell Karen the truth.
But I like her too much to do that.
Oh, Zack, you little scamp. This mindset will plague you forever. In the end, Miss Bliss convinces Zack to tell Karen the truth. But then...
I forgot to tell you that my parents are going to be away on Saturday, and we can have the pool all to ourselves.
You have a swimming pool? Like with water?
And a special bikini that I was too shy to wear at the lake.
This is starting to sound like a plot point for the director of the pilot. Oh, girl, bikini, cool. Oh. And for your consideration, here is a scene that does nothing for the plot. Hello, Milo. But here's some plot-worthy stuff.
I'll see you in homeroom, Miss Bliss. Did I say homeroom?
Oh, farts. Farts.
Oh, an experimental homeroom, a mystery campus that no one can find, and a driver's license doesn't work on Wednesdays? You lied to me.
Oh, Zack, you blew it. If only you were smarter, like a 9th grader. Then you wouldn't be so stupid, like an 8th grader. Bye, Karen. Let's see if Mr. Belding is having any more luck with Miss Bliss.
No.
What was the point of this plotline? It's finally time for Carrie's date. But it's Tina. No idea why. She serves no purpose and quickly exits when Brian shows up. Then the date begins.
It's nice to have a quiet, romantic conversation with a woman who isn't wearing a surgical mask.
Wait, how many quiet, romantic conversations with women in surgical masks are you having, Brian? Homeboy is bone dry, which is why Miss Bliss has no problem getting distracted by fetching dessert.
Hey, baby.
Apparently, Zack knows where his teacher lives and shows up for some much-needed advice on heartache. Miss Bliss is torn between helping Zack and her dead-faced date. No, she's not. She lies to her date to keep helping Zack. The two share a pretty deep conversation that successfully conveys a message. But then here comes Captain Personality. He needs to leave because people might be dying at his hospital. And then we never see him again. And Zack and Miss Bliss finish the date together. Now let's take a look at our guest stars. Carla Gugino began acting around the age of 17 after a brief stint in modeling. Good Morning Miss Bliss was one of her first acting gigs. With around 100 acting credits to her name, Carla is someone you have likely seen in Hollywood. Her resume boasts appearances on television shows like Entourage, Spin City, Chicago Hope, and Californication. She's also been in movies like Sin City, Night at the Museum, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, and I'm sure she'd want me to mention the Electrolux movies. She also appeared in the 10th episode of the short-lived Ferris Bueller television show, which boasts this TV gem.
What was that?
Do you want me to call 911?
I am 911.
Carla Gugino. She's no Sarah Carter, but then again, who is? Our other guest star was Barry Jenner. He had a fairly robust career in the 80s, but this tapered off in the 90s. Trekkies may remember him as Admiral Ross in Deep Space Nine. He also had significant appearances in Dallas and the various Pyramid game shows. While he also appeared in Matlock, Something So Right, and a number of soap operas, I'll always remember him as Lieutenant Murtaugh, Carl Winslow's boss in Family Matters. And more specifically, this scene.
Instead of breaking up, I wish that we were making up again. I beg.
Ooh, okay, that's enough. That makes 2 Jaleel White appearances in this video. In addition to acting, Barry Jenner served 21 years as a volunteer LA Reserve police officer. Sadly, he died of leukemia in 2016. As despite the fairly wooden performance in Good Morning, Miss Bliss, Barry seemed like a quality guy. Well, that's all we have time for in this episode. Tune in next time for another deep dive. I'm going to have to say it like that from now on, aren't I?